Hi, I'm Gabriel Garcia, and I'm going to be doing my requirements for emergency prep merit badge. So the first requirement that I'm going to be doing, or the second actually, second requirement that I'm going to be doing is requirement number 8A, which is tell the things a group of scouts should be prepared to do and any training they need, and any safety precautions that they should take for the emergency services. So for crowd and traffic control, what you should be able to do is be able to handle crowds efficiently and without harming yourself. Also the same with traffic, being able to direct traffic to wherever it needs to go, and that should be regulated with government officials or police officers nearby. And there's training by FEMA CERT program for traffic and crowd control. For safety, you want to make sure that you keep yourself safe, and if an issue where arises where you could hurt or be hurt or hurt yourself, you need to let it go so you don't get hurt. Like say there's an aggressive person you're doing crowd control and they're coming up to you and you're saying, "Sir, you need to stand back over there." And they're like, "No, I'm going through." And if you don't, I'll punch you or tase you or something. You just need to let them through so you don't get hurt. Secondly, is messenger service and communications. For that, what you're supposed to be able to do is assist with establishing and maintaining reliable communications. You also need to be able to travel distances between locations and be able to operate amateur radio equipment. For training, you'll need an amateur radio license and knowledge of the area. For safety, you'll want to wear a reflective vest, carry a personal first aid kit, a flashlight, a map, some paper and a pencil, and have multiple communication devices if possible. You also want to travel with a buddy at all times. So, next is collection and distribution services. What you want to be able to do is collect things for people that are in need somewhere else, or be able to distribute that to someone that's in need where you are right now. And there wasn't any training that I could find or anything that you would need to know how to do particularly, except for make sure you know food safety regulations or something like that, and safety that you want when you're distributing food or water. You should wear gloves as to not contaminate the food or water or get contaminated by the food and water that you're handling. So next up is the group feeding, shelter, and sanitation. What you want to be able to do for that is be able to go to a home shelter for the homeless and be able to give them food or clean up around there or something. So any training that you need to have would be field sanitation rules that apply in your area, or just know how to do that. Knowing how to cook over a fire with a camp stove or a grill, as well as cooking in a kitchen. You always want to work under adult supervision when you're in a shelter. For safety, another thing is for safety, you want to make sure that you're working under adult supervision. And then sanitation and cleanliness is very important. Always work with a buddy in the shelter, never alone. That applies for pretty much anything else in scouting as well. So next up, I'm going to be doing a hunting home hazards. So I'm going to be going around my house and pointing out any hazards that will arise. Most likely, this is the most obvious one that I see. It's a whole bunch of electronics right there. You can see that's not very safe. There's a bunch of solder. There's sharp tools over there, and I really need to get that cleaned up. So I'm gonna go around my house with a checklist that I found on the FEMA website called Hunting Home Hazards, and I'll be checking things off as I go down my house. Doing the hunting home hazards, which is, so the first thing is chemical hazards. there's a separate sheet on here that has a bunch of chemical hazards on it that I'll post a link to this whole thing so you can look at exactly what I was looking at. So, chemical hazards, I'll go through. Flammable liquids, are they stored away from the home? Secure containers, and is the area well ventilated? Do they have labels stating that they're approved by UL or FM? Are the containers stored away from... Hi, that's my face. Are the containers stored away from heat sources and children? Do the chemical containers have Mr. Yuck labels on them to warn children? And I'll put a link to what the Mr. Yuck symbol looks like, because to be totally honest, I have no clue what it looks like. So I'll go through that. The first thing that I see right off the bat in my bathroom right here down next to my little work area is the Lysol disinfectant. It has a keep away from children right there-ish, right there, and it says keep away from children. But other than that, it has no other safety warnings on it whatsoever. It doesn't label its ingredients except for citric acid, and it says other ingredients. So that's all that it says on there. We'll head on over to the bar area and see what we can find there. I'll be just going through I actually can't go through there because there's a whole bunch of other stuff right there, which will probably be hazards later on. So I'll head upstairs into the upstairs kitchen and then to the garage, and then we'll go on to electrical hazards, or we'll come back down here and kitchen, garage. Those will be the 3 places I'll be visiting. Okay, so first off, some Mr. Clean right here, and surprisingly, it doesn't have any UL symbols on it or FM. It has keep away from children on it down by the 1.25 quart thing right there. But other than that, it has no safety things on it whatsoever. No child, no Mr. Yuck symbol or anything. And it has first aid if it's in eyes or if it's swallowed. It doesn't have what's actually in it. It says that it has alcohol ethylxylates. But other than that, it doesn't say anything. It doesn't have any, and it doesn't even say that that's actually a thing. It doesn't have any chlorine, bleach, or ammonia in it, which I guess is good, but no safety on it whatsoever. This one's better than the last two. It's a can of Easy Off. It has 2 keep away from children things on it, and it tells you it's under pressure, and it actually gives you a list of ingredients. And it tells you safe use of how to use it, but there's no actual, it's not UL approved or anything. But it does have first aid as well. Keep out of reach of children, bright red. And then it has a couple ingredients on there, and then some more precautions. So, pretty good, not the best. Last one up is going to be something that we all probably have in our house. I don't know why I'm talking. Alright, so the last thing is going to be some Hoover Pet Plus Pet Stain and Odor Remover. Keep out of reach of children. Caution eye irritant. That's what I see on the front of it. Let's see what's on the back. It says no UL. I don't actually know if anything in there is UL. It says no actual ingredients. Instructions. So I'm in the kitchen. We're gonna go through, see what any chemical hazards that are down here. So I see a whole bunch of chemical stuffs. Let's go through it. Dishwasher, cleaner, Easy Off, a whole bunch of other stuff. There's 2 cans of Easy Off in here, so you can just see that right there. a lot of chemicals. A lot more chemicals. I'll go through 3 different ones and see if they have. You need to see my face. I'll go through 3 different chemicals and see if they have stuff on them saying that they're hazardous materials or whatnot. Alright, so gonna do the second part of the fire hazards. So I'm gonna look around for old rags, stuff that's normally flammable, like that. That's normally flammable. It's a little bit of a hazard because it's right next to a plug, right? Yeah, there, and a plug there. So I'm gonna mark that down as one, and then curtains. I don't know if we have any curtains down here. We have a little bit of velvet down here on this board right there. And that's attached to a thing right there. Don't remember what it's called. And then next to a plug. So, oh, and that lamp up there gets really hot when it gets on. So that could be a thing. Nobody wants to see all the collection of cowboy stuff go up in flames. Not at all. So, I think that's all. That's down here. That's obvious. I mean, other than the jersey straping down a little bit, there's nothing else really down here. Everything in the bathroom is good. It's not next to a plug or anything that'll spark another fire hazard. That's just kind of, fire hazardy. That whole thing right there. Nice and flammable. Are there dried glass clippings, tree trimmings, or pulled weeds on the property? No, we throw all those away. Yeah, there's nothing out there. We throw all our weeds in the trash and not to be seen ever again. Heaters, candles, or matches in high traffic areas or available to children. I'm the only children in this house. And they're all in high traffic-y areas, I guess. They're in the living room, so I guess that's a fire hazard, but I don't know quite why. I mean, if we see it getting a little bit out of control, we have a fire extinguisher right next to it in the kitchen. Heaters standing upright without extension cords. It's not a problem that we have. We have central heating. I think that's what we have. It's a big tower over there. Are there enough fire extinguishers? One on each floor? Yeah, there's at least one on each floor. I know that for a fact. Have they been recharged as directed? Never had to use them, and I just went up and checked all of them. They're all good. Do I know how to use them? I know how to use them. My parents know how to use them. Are there enough smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors? We don't have any carbon monoxide detectors, and I told my parents about that the other day, and they were like, we'll get one when it comes to be around winter time, because that's when you have to worry about carbon monoxide a lot more. Fire detectors, we have one in almost each room, at least one on each floor. We have 2 in the basement where I am right now, 2 or 3 middle floor, and then 1 in each room on the upper floor. Organic hazards. Are there any of the household plants poisonous or toxic? No, none. If so, are they out of reach of pets and children? Not a worry. We don't have toxic plants in our house. Have you seen poisonous animals, such as spiders or scorpions in the home? Consider pesticides and always be cautious when reaching into boxes and corners or putting on shoes. We don't live in Australia. Everything around here is pretty good. We don't have any poisonous snakes around here. There's black widows and brown recluse spiders. But other than that, there's nothing deadly, like really deadly. So, that's it. Is there any visible mold? No, there's no mold in our house. I've checked that already. think there might have used to been in one of the bathrooms where it just got steamy enough where it was able to grow. But I don't know. Not quite sure. Gutters. I'm not going to go check the gutters because that is a lot of work and I'm not supposed to do that right now. Storm drains. Check to make sure that they're not clogged with debris. They're not. It's a big, giant open thing that a lot of people walk through every week. So, that's not a thing we have to worry about. Adequate sloping of soil or fill away from the foundation if need. Add soil or fill. We're good on the whole soily bit erosion thing. It looks nice outside. You're not going to have any erosion. Even if there is large storms that could rip up grass, it most likely won't. Because it's pretty good in there. It's taken care of and whatnot. Look for areas where there may be erosion. Oh, no erosion. As I said, there's not any of that around here. It's all perfectly good grass and whatnot. Or whatever there is. There used to be some over in a neighbor's house, but they got that cleared up. That's the same page. Alright, check into the feasibility of having a supply of sandbags or temporary closures for parts of your building where floodwater could enter. All our doors are sealed and watertight, so water can't actually get into any of our doors because we get that checked to every 2 or 3 years, just in case it happens, and it doesn't. And we're not in floodplains. The tennis courts are susceptible to flooding, and the woods in front of our house are, but we're not. We have pretty good place. We're on top of a hill, so. If you might experience flood problems, check on the available and advisability of having flood insurance. We don't need flood insurance because we're not in a floodplain where we are anyways. I mean, we could be, but we're not. We're on a hill. We're not going to get flooded out. It'll rush downhill. Both directions. 4 directions, actually. Structural hazards. Have water heaters, large appliances, bookcases, and other tall and heavy furniture shelves. Mirrors, pictures, and overhead light fixtures been anchored to wall studs. Yeah, all of them. Let me go. Like, tall things. Everything's put into a wall stud. These cabinets are nailed into wall studs. Those cabinets are nailed into wall studs. Everything under the sun in our house is nailed to a stud. Besides for this, that's the TV cabinet isn't, because it needs room in the back for wiring and electronics. Have pictures or mirrors been moved away for people to sleep or sit? Yeah, we don't have any. I mean, I have a picture above my bed. Doesn't really matter. It's not going to fall down. As I said, everything is nailed into a wall stud. It's not going to fall down. Mirrors, we don't have any where people sit. Larger, heavy objects moved to lower shelves. Yeah, pretty much everything that's heavy is moved to a lower shelf. That's just how it kind of. Our house just kind of naturally flows to heavy things on the bottom so you can lift them up. Does the water heater have flexible gas supply lines? They all do. Everything has flexible gas supply lines, including the stove, because that's natural gas, the heater, and everything. Are cabinet doors latched or locked so that items cannot fall out? Not normally. They're not really latched. We don't have anything that would be a hazard if it were to fall out. Movies, maybe video games. I mean, Other than that, nothing that can really fall out and hurt anything. Hallways and stairways well lit. Yeah, they're pretty well lit. Takes the light on the main stairs a few seconds to just warm up and get brighter, but other than that, it's well lit. The basement staircase is good as well. Hallways and stairways free of clutter. Yeah, all the time. Unless we're actually moving something up or down the stairs, it's free of clutter all the time. Deep cracks in the ceilings or foundations, we don't have any of those, so we've never had to have them repaired. Safety gates at the bottom and top of stairways, this doesn't really apply. We don't have any small children. Guards around fireplaces, radiators, hot pipes, wood-burning stoves, none of that. Sharp edges cushioned, nope. Curtain cords and shade poles out of reach of small children, no. Hot water heaters set at a safe temperature. I mean, hasn't burned anybody in our house yet, so probably. Are prescription drugs and over-the-counter medicines kept in child-proof containers and out of reach? Child-proof containers, yes, they're pretty high up. So if we ever have small guests coming over, for any reason, they're pretty safe. Shampoos and cosmetics kept out of reach. They're all in bathrooms that we keep closed in the showers, and most of the time bathrooms aren't available to the public, with the exception of the basement bathroom. It's the only one that has a shower in it that you can easily access without going through somebody's room. Alright, what else? There's one more page. Are all sharp objects in the bathroom, kitchen, and other areas kept out of reach? We don't have that problem, once again. Toilet seats and lids down when not in use? Yeah, that's common practice everywhere, pretty much, from what I understand. Are outlets covered? No, we don't need them covered. We can just turn them off. Our outlets have an on-off switch. Beds, cribs away from radiators, we don't have any of those. Mattresses fit the side of cribs snugly, we don't have any cribs. Toy boxes, we don't have any of those. But if we did, I mean, I guess I have one, but it's powered by hydraulics, so you can't lift up the lid without pressing multiple buttons. That's about it, actually. So, yay, we're done with this.